Hey guys, I wanted to show my warcry Seismic Cry build, and I'm finishing this build kind of early because it's good for clear speed, but it's not really good for single target. And the main reason is that it's not an attack, it's not a spell. The weapon pretty much does nothing for this build. I tried my best to increase levels as much as I could, get as much damage as I could. Currently sitting at 4.2k life, but I have, well, other than block, I don't have our defenses. But it is working pretty well for clearing, and it's kind of satisfying to do clearing. But when it comes to bossing and even some rare monsters that have regeneration and some other funky mods, I just sometimes cannot even kill them. My gem is still level 19, so you could get still +2 levels to gems, and I'm missing one socket. I am even using a magnified field to get more area, and I'm using Corrupting Cry, which does scale off my strength. That's why I have quite a high life pool. And like, you could replace the increased AoE and get an extra support, but even at this stage it should be performing better. But like I said, the saddest part is that the weapon is the most boring part of this build. The only thing that works from this weapon is +32 strength. The days build-up doesn't work, nothing else really works. Leech doesn't work because it is local to the weapon. I tested that, it didn't work. And I'm not sure, maybe stun build-up and stun duration does work, but that's pretty much it. And I am using Wild Knight helmet, the corrupted one even. Essentially every second monsters take 5% increased damage. And that's a more multiplier, that's like a final multiplier, that's like a shock. Imagine having 200% shock, but that's only from hits. And I'm not actually even sure that this helmet is working because I don't feel like it's changing much. Like, getting 200% more damage should be very noticeable, but I don't know. Maybe because my damage is actually not mostly corrupting blood, but the corrupting blood is very significant part of this build. So like, average damage is 1.7k. If I warcry, it ramps up because I have some conditional things, but the corrupted blood one stack is 920. So that's like half of the average hit damage, but I can stack 10 times. However, I do have pretty high cast speed. This is almost 5 casts per second, and it would be difficult to get more cast speed. You could get like a skill speed on gloves, but I don't think that that's an efficient way to like it feels like I'm missing something, or the game is missing something for this to work better. Because what else do you use for a weapon? I've been thinking about that. You could use like scepter, low tier scepter that requires very low intelligence, that is a high item level. It's gonna be difficult to find. I could not find it on the market. So you want strength. You could also get like presence area, but nothing else really. The scepter modifier that says allies gain like a flat physical damage or stuff like that, it doesn't grant to you yourself. So it would only grant to allies and not to you. So I really don't know what else you could use for specters. If you have some ideas, let me know, because I would love to take this a bit further, because I did enjoy mapping with it, but yeah, the single target is just not enough. Now I do have, if I can find it, I do have a jewel, this one, Prism of Belief, +3 levels to all Seismic Cry skills. You can actually search for this on trade, and actually gonna show you how. People basically figured out the numbers that you need to enter in the search to find the right skills. If you were to search for Prism of Belief, you would find all sorts of skills. And the way you search for that is actually this number. You have to enter the correct number. 17.5 is gonna be Hex Blast +1 level, Seismic Cry +2 level, and Skeleton Storm Mages +3. Number 18 is the one that gives +3 to Seismic Cries. It can also roll these, so you still kind of have to search. So you search 18, 18, and it will find all the possible outcomes for that. I actually paid 1 divine, so I guess the price went up quite a lot for some reason. I don't know. They are kind of rare, and maybe people don't know how to search for them. I only learned that yesterday. I also got free Grand Spectrum jewels to increase my life. And you do want to increase life because this drains life very quickly, as you can see. And on top of that, I do have a thing that recovers 2% of my life and mana each time I warcry. So essentially you want the life cost to be less than that 2%. Urgent Call. Recover 2% life and mana when you use warcry. It also gives warcry speed, which is kind of like a DPS increase. And the rest is basically strength and getting pretty much all warcry nodes. I didn't go for these warcry nodes. That would be a bit of more warcry speed, but that's not really needed. And this one increased damage for each different warcry used recently. So this would only be like 40% increased damage, because I have Infernal Cry, but I don't really use it. I do have 75 block attack block. I don't have this node just yet. I haven't done the final. I don't think that I could do with my current damage. Maybe I could if I played really well, but it's not pleasant, it's not fun. So I went for these nodes. 1% increase generic damage for hits, ailments, dots, anything. So this does increase damage of my warcry and also increase damage of corrupted blood. You can get this modifier on this and also on this. On top of that, I'm also stacking strength, and this one slightly increases my hit damage per strength. Not very much, I only have 580 strength, but the main reason why strength is bigger life pool, which means it's gonna be more life sustainable using Seismic Cry and also corrupted blood. You could also maybe I actually even tried going with the Break armor. The Seismic Cry does ignore enemy physical damage reduction, so you don't care about breaking enemy armor or lowering it into negative, I guess. But I did try using this. Honestly, I couldn't tell if it was working, but I was using this one. Break armor equal to 10% of the hit damage dealt. It was not very quick to break enemy armor, but with this kind of speed it took like a second or two. More against tougher arrays it was a bit longer. But this alone gives 100% increased damage against enemies with fully broken armor. And the rest is just getting physical damage, getting warcry damage, and the rest is just getting strength, getting attributes. I don't know what else to get, because it's not a spell, it's not an attack, it's not melee. Weapons would roll with let's say plus 3 to melee skills. That doesn't work. Binds with let's say plus 3 to physical spells. Doesn't work. Although you could use a wand, and I did try briefly use a wand like this with triple damage as extra, but then you cannot use brutality, because brutality disables chaos and elemental damage, and for this you kind of need a bit higher intelligence. Another way you could maybe build is using corpses, because the Seismic Cry also blows up corpses, and that actually can do a lot of damage in maps while clearing. You could build a higher intelligence, go with scepters, and then use minions, and then use what was it, sacrifice, to essentially allow your revivable minions to be detonated by the Seismic Cry. But I don't think that would be very efficient. You would have to build a lot of minion life, and the explosion part cannot be supported. So it's just an explosion coming from the passive. It's not a skill, and it is not an attack, it's not a spell, it's just an, I guess, area damage, and it is physical. You have limited scalability of that. Besides, minions have revive time, and if you use the persistent buff, I think it's sacrifice, that allows you to detonate your minions or use them as a corpse. It will make your minions revive even slower. So I don't think that's a viable solution to this. I feel like we are just missing some kind of piece of a puzzle to make warcries more viable, more usable. Something for weapons. Maybe in the future there will be like access with some warcry stuff, or I don't know, plus warcry levels, something like that. I don't even know what else to use for spirit. I am using overwhelming presence to make it a bit easier to stun enemies, and then time of need is amazing. It recovers life, and if you use reduced duration on the passive tree or elsewhere, and then less skill effect duration support, you get its cooldown lowered. So my not cooldown, but like intervals. So currently it heals me every 7.21 seconds, and it heals for 540. I did some math. You could get it down to like 2.5 seconds, maybe even less, unless my math was incorrect. But this could be an interesting, like a healing kind of thing, but it would also require quite a bit of investment and specific pathing on the tree and specific items. I'm a bit disappointed with warcries, but also kind of impressed that they clear so well. The pushing enemies back is annoying, and maybe in the future there will be like a reverse knockback like there is in PoE 1, although I'm not sure if I would want that. By the way, this is Warbringer, but you don't have to be Warbringer. I believe you can use Pinning Support Gem. I believe this one. Because Seismic Cry does go on cooldown when you hit a heavy stun enemy, something like that. I keep forgetting it. So this basically disables stun, so enemies would never get stunned, which is not necessarily a good thing. but it would pin them. Essentially, they would be stuck in place and unable to move. But I think we can still, yeah, immobilize, but I think we can still attack. Yeah, prevents from moving or being moved. So I guess it would also prevent from enemies being pushed back, which could be helpful, but I'm not sure. Ranged enemies would still attack you, and that's not good. You kind of want to stun them, but it also would replace a support gem, which would lower your potential damage even more. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but basically you have to use that pin support if you don't play as a Warbringer, because Warbringer just basically bypasses cooldowns. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.